receiver, A.J. Green, had a breakout game last week against Arizona State. Great body control, 6'4", 200 pounds. Alabama's strength is their power inside. A dominant offensive line led by left tackle Andre Smith. A 3-4 defense is nothing without a nose guard, Terrence Cody, 365 pounds in the middle. And then Rolando McClain, their middle linebacker, is 250 pounds. They are strong on both sides of the ball. That's Alabama's key to this game.
What a scene here in Athens. Here come the Crimson Tide of Alabama, already with a signature win as they blasted Clemson in the season opener and served notice on the world of college football that only in their second year, Nick Saban had this team ready for something special. And the Georgia Bulldogs waiting in the wings. They will wear black jerseys for only the third time in modern history. Upsets galore today. Number 1, Southern Cal fell earlier in the week. Number 4, Florida. They were stunned as well. Will Alabama pull off the next surprise, or will Georgia move back to number 1 in the country? Kickoff is next.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Kingsford, proud sponsor of ESPN Tailgate Week, Aflac, ask about it at work, and ESPN Game Plan. See the most college football every Saturday. To order, call your pay-per-view provider.
August 7th, set to go for the biggest game of the year here in Athens. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, in a game this big, coaches want to know if their star players are ready to play. Let me tell you about Georgia running back Knowshon Moreno. When he took the field tonight for the first time, he ran out full speed. He was 100 miles an hour, shoulder pads in hand. He was so excited to get out here. He went that fast throughout the entire warm-ups, guys. His teammates feed off of his energy. He is so excited for this game. At one point, he was standing by himself on the 10-yard line, no one around him. He looked up into the night sky and just went, "Wah!" He is ready to play, and the team hopes they can build off his energy.
Holly, if you can't get jacked up for this one, you never will. Coming up on our show tonight, we'll see two of the best teams in the country, number 3 and number 8. Walsh to kick to Arenas and McCoy. Arenas very dangerous. They kick it away from him, and McCoy will take it in the end zone. John Parker Wilson, the senior quarterback, needs only 190 yards passing to own virtually all the quarterback records at Alabama. No small feat when you consider names like Starr, Namath, and Stabler.
And I think he's going to have a big game tonight for Georgia. They have not had to throw very much. He only threw the ball 13 times last week in Arkansas. They have got to throw the ball, and I think particularly on early downs, first and second down, he's got to be effective throwing the football.
Glenn Coffey is the running back. He is off to a great start this year. And Coffey will get the first carry. They love to run off the left side behind the center, the left guard, and the left tackle. You can check out the entire starting lineup for both ball clubs at the top of your screen above the miniature scoreboard. A veteran offensive line for Alabama. The left side, 3 guys who play at an All-American level. Bring in additional wide receivers. They've got 5 men flanked out for John Parker Wilson. And they complete the first throw of the game. B.J. Scott, only his second catch of the season so far. They've got a lot of guys that they think will eventually be good receivers, starting with Julio Jones, who was just sensational.
Julio Jones, a true freshman. B.J. Scott, a true freshman out of Pritchard, Alabama. They've got some really young, talented guys that are going to have to step up on a big stage tonight.
Now they go to two tight ends on third and short. Got a fullback, Baron Huber, set to the side of Coffey, and Coffey will get the carry. Plunges straight ahead for a first down to the 32.
One of the guys on this Alabama team who is kind of an unsung hero is the tight end who's kind of the motion guy, Travis McCall, number 83. They kind of use him as a fullback, a moving tight end. He's an excellent blocker. In fact, he was the coach's choice as the offensive player of the game last week, even though he didn't catch a pass. He's an excellent blocker, and they use him as a lead blocking tight end or fullback on a lot of their running plays.
The injured player, Dannell Ellerbe, and good to see him up and running off the preseason first teamer in the Southeastern Conference. His nickname is Phenom. He has tremendous physical skills at 6'1", 243. Listed there at 232, but he's bigger than that. And off to the 35. That's about it. Akeem Dent with the tackle on Coffey.
Alabama's impact players, their offensive line is their strength, and Antoine Caldwell is their leader at center. He's the signal caller. Glenn Coffey, as you mentioned, off to a great start, averaging almost 9 yards a carry. And Julio Jones, one of the freshman wide receivers we'll see in this ball game. Another one on the other side in A.J. Green. The two top-rated wide receivers out of high school a year ago.
And both are living up to their clippings. Play action fake. John Parker Wilson on the roll and throws complete. He's got a first down out to the 48-yard line. And it's Julio Jones, the talented freshman, with his 12th catch of the year. You just knew that this man was going to win. It was only a question of time. He has won everywhere he has gone in college football. Now in his second year as the Alabama head coach. But boy, are the expectations there sky high for Nick Saban.
John Parker Wilson off to a nice start. Couple early down passes. They get the play action work. You've got to respect the Alabama run.
Blitz coming. John Parker Wilson unloads. Jones across the 40 and out of bounds. Jones, a big target, 6'4", 210. A kid who is very coachable. He wants to be good. And there's nothing like that. Somebody that's willing to come in and work and accept coaching. That's exactly what you want to see. There's Ellerbe going to the locker room.
And Alabama going without a huddle, going to a quick count.
Coffey can't get outside. Rashad Jones, the free safety, drilled him. Let's go to Holly.
Guys, linebacker Dannell Ellerbe for Georgia complaining of a hard hit to that left kneecap. They've done the ligament examination. He got up, popped up, and was moving around pretty well, but they've taken him to the locker room. Believe they're going to fit him for a brace, and we may see him again tonight.
Well, it's a pretty good sign, Holly, when they're worried about your knee and you run to the locker room. 2nd and 7. Two tight ends in again. John Parker Wilson, good protection deep down the middle. Underthrown a little bit, but interference. Prince Miller was defending Marquise Mays. Mays had a step on him. The ball was a little underthrown, and that's going to be a penalty.
And again, you see the play action pass helps your protection. It freezes the coverage because you must respect Alabama's ability to run the football. You throw on early downs with play action.
Interference, number 23, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
This is not a bad play by Prince Miller because he was beaten on the play. If he doesn't hit him, it's a touchdown for Alabama. He creates contact, he prevents the catch, and you take the penalty in a case like that. Because if you do nothing, you're down 7-0 on the scoreboard.
I agree with you, and it is not a point of contact foul. It's a 15-yarder, so instead of at the 1-yard line, it's the penalty marked to the 21. And Georgia has been guilty of a lot of penalties so far this year. Alabama has been about as penalty-free as you could hope for. Mark Ingram, number 22, in for the first time. And Todd, isn't it interesting that Terry Grant, who was the leading ground gainer for Alabama a year ago, he split a lot of time with Coffey. He's the third-string guy now.
Yeah, that kind of shows you some of the depth that's improving for Alabama. Terry Grant, the leading rusher last year. Mark Ingram, a freshman out of Flint, Michigan, has really kind of supplanted him as the backup and has become the kind of the 1-2 guy with Glenn Coffey.
And they're convinced you need two guys. Keeps them healthy throughout what has become a longer and longer season. Speaking of healthy, Geno Atkins will test the health of a running back every once in a while.
You know, when I watched this game on tape and studied it, I came away with a couple key questions for both teams. Right now, Alabama has the ball, so their big offensive question, can they throw on early downs? Can they get some positive yardage? For Georgia's defense, can their defensive ends hold up against the big offensive tackles of Alabama? They match up pretty good inside, but it's on the defensive ends where they've got some problems. So far, John Parker Wilson answering that question.
Coffey is back in on 3rd and long. Georgia shows blitz, and they come with it. Screen to Coffey. 10, 7, ball came loose. Georgia says they've got it, no signal yet. Georgia certainly had the first shot at it. And they do.
There is a flag down, though. There was a flag thrown back in the area of John Parker Wilson. It's still on the ground at the 30-yard line. We'll have to see what that penalty is. It was dropped in the area where you would think maybe roughing the passer after the screen pass, but we'll see.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 51, defense. Half the distance to the goal from the previous spot, automatic first down.
What a huge penalty. Instead of taking over inside their 10, they give Alabama a first down inside the 10.
Well, here's the play. It was a beautiful call by Jim McElwain, offensive coordinator. A little slip screen against the blitz. He's got blockers out in front. Excellent call. And then he loses the football at the end. But the late hit on the quarterback by Akeem Dent, a young linebacker, up around the face, is what drew the penalty.
Got him with an open hand in the face mask.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that it was late. It was just in the wrong spot.
They'll mark this at about the 11.5, so Alabama could still get a first down inside the 2. Ingram, nice cut. Still on his feet, driving hard to the 7-yard line.
Jim McElwain, we mentioned, the new offensive coordinator at Alabama. For John Parker Wilson, it's his 3rd different coordinator in 3 years. And it was interesting. McElwain said, you know, I was in the same situation last year at Fresno State with my quarterback there, Tim Brandstater. I was the 3rd voice in 3 years for him, so I've really tried to be the guy that learns and let everybody else do what they're used to doing. And he has really blended well with John Parker Wilson so far.
Got an extra offensive lineman in there for more blocking. Right up the middle to the goal line, touchdown. Mark Ingram with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season, and they are stunned in Athens.
Well, they were aided by a nice penalty. They had a pass interference penalty, and then the roughing the passer penalty that really helped this drive out, but Alabama very impressive on their opening drive.
Now, they may want to review this because it was very close to the goal line.
I think the key to that drive for Alabama was early down passing. They kept the Georgia defense off balance. And they're coming into the game, everybody's saying, #1 rush offense in the SEC, #1 rush defense. That's the matchup, that's the buildup. Alabama did a nice job keeping them off balance.
The point after for Tiffin. 80-yard drive, 6 minutes and 28 seconds. Impressive beginning for Alabama. Widely known as one of the top pitmasters in his field, Chris Lilly is the head chef at the world-famous Big Bob Gibson Barbecue Restaurant in Decatur, Alabama. He's also a spokesperson for Kingsford, who's sponsoring Tailgate Week here on ESPN. He's also been recognized by the Wall Street Journal as having the best pork barbecue in the country. Excuse me, no rap on him, but what would the Wall Street Journal know about pork barbecue? Give me a break.
Well, that was an impressive scoring drive from Alabama. 8 runs, 3 for 3 passing it, and 2 big penalties to get on the board first.
Lamarcus Brown is deep, number 3 in the Southeastern Conference kick return. 26.1 a return. Not this time.
Well, let's take a look at the touchdown for Alabama. Some excellent blocking by a couple of their key guys. Watch Andre Smith just come in here and collapse the inside. And then the guy I talked about earlier, Travis McCall, watch him come over and trap on the defensive end, Jarius Wynn. Andre Smith just collapses the left side. McCall gets the trap block, and Ingram runs with low pads and gets into the end zone. Beautiful run.
Matthew Stafford, the quarterback. Impressive stats, maybe the most impressive, 21-4 as a starter. Gets it out to Massaquoi.
Boy, great block by Chris Durham out there, number 16. That play has no chance without Chris Durham doing his job. Really tied up his man and allowed him to get that first down.
And you were talking on that earlier drive about Alabama throwing on early downs.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is a great run blocking line,
Yes.
but they may be suspect as passing. So if it's 3rd and 12,
right,
they may be put in a hole.
They're a great run blocking and they're great play action pass blocking, but just pure 3rd down passing situations, that's not their strength.
Stafford wants a screen. Marino. They love to throw screens, especially against an aggressive defense like Alabama's out to the 50. It's unusual to throw a screen even before you've seen any pressure.
Yeah. Well, Georgia's a great screen team. Nick Saban knew that. They actually have this defended right, but Marino is too fast for defensive linebacker Brandon Fanny. I mean, Fanny was there to defend it, but Knowshon Marino felt him and just kind of stepped and juked outside and turned it into a positive game.
Marino averaging 113 yards a game early in the season. Now he's in the eye. Stafford 2 for 2. Marino on that little toss. Holly showed you how psyched up he was in preseason, in pregame warm-up. Sean Chappis with a good block in front of him, the fullback.
Well, he had a big game last week. 23 carries, 149 yards, and a couple touchdowns out in the desert at Tempe. And he is just such an excitable guy. His energy is contagious for this Georgia football team. I mean, he runs hard, he blocks hard, he cheers hard. I mean, everything he does all out. And it affects everybody on this football team. He is a fun guy to watch play football.
Especially with the other weapons on this team. Stafford pressure coming, another screen. This time, Marino has no chance, and Terrence Cody got in on the tackle. That's not good news for anybody with the ball. A few weeks ago, Knowshon Marino made the cover of a lot of sports magazine with a hurdle over Central Michigan's Vince Agnew. Last week, he went airborne again. Watch this one. He catapults into the end zone from the 4-yard line to help Georgia defeat Arizona State 27-10. Used to be a rule, you're not supposed to leave your feet. Well, they weren't thinking about these guys.
Yeah. He's spectacular. Very explosive.
3rd and 7. They tried to screen on that last down, back the other way. Stafford under pressure, throws incomplete.
See, what happened right there to Matthew Stafford is the protection from Georgia's offensive line, which is kind of the weak area right now in this Georgia offense, has been suspect so far this season. And what a quarterback has to do is he has to trust his protection every down, no matter what happened the previous play. That time, Matthew Stafford started backing out of there when he really didn't have to. I mean, the pressure wasn't there, but he kind of retreated like there was pressure and wasn't able to make a good throw down the field.
Javier Arenas, who has tied the great David Palmer for 4 punt return touchdowns in his career, as dangerous as it gets. From the 19. Got a seat. Boy, that was close. Out to the 35, a 16-yard return. And Alabama up by 7. The Crimson Tide has the ball back.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels at Hampton. We love having you here. And in part by Mazda, introducing the totally, completely, 100% new Mazda 6.
Aerial coverage of tonight's game provided to you by Goodyear. Football's rough, your commute shouldn't be. So get there on Goodyear Silent Armor technology. 7-0 Alabama, and they have dominated the early action in every game they have played this year. They are outscoring their opponents 71-0 in the first quarter. Coffee lowers his shoulder, gets maybe 2, and that's it.
It's interesting. When we talked to Willie Martinez, the defensive coordinator for Georgia, yesterday he said, you know, this is the first team that we have played this year that we know is going to be committed to running the football. Everybody else we've played so far has just kind of dabbled in it. They've tried it, we've stuffed them, they've gotten away from it. Now, last week, Arizona State had 4 yards rushing in the first half. Alabama's a team that is going to commit themselves to running the football and challenge you physically in your front 7.
Alabama's already gained 56. Georgia was only giving up 45. John Parker Wilson in trouble down the sideline, gets out of bounds. Here's Holly.
Guys, after last season, Nick Saban told his quarterback, John Parker Wilson, one of the 3 areas he wanted to see him improve in, leadership. He wanted him to build better relationships with his teammates, and I can see a huge difference on the sideline. After the touchdown, he ran over, got in the face of the offensive lineman, was whooping it up. Before they took the field just now, in the huddle, he went to each offensive lineman, tapped the side of his helmet as if to say, use your head, play smart. You can see he's taken ownership of this football team.
That's a good point, Holly. They wanted him to be more assertive, and they wanted the guys to see that and respond to it. And I think it's happened both ways. I think the guys have responded to him as well.
Wilson on a roll. Here comes the pressure. Smart decision, throws it away. And there is a flag down in the secondary.
Number 5, C.J. Hurd. And number 97, Brandon Wood. 5 pressure for Bulldogs.
Flag on the play. Before the pass, holding, number 23, defense. 10 yards away from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That's Prince Miller, who committed the interference call earlier in the ball game, and he's shaking his head and pleading his case, saying, I didn't do it.
Well, another costly penalty right here. Prince Miller working on Mike McCoy, the receiver, and he just gets him tied up. You can jam him, but you can't grab him. And right there, he's grabbing and holding him when John Parker Wilson was trying to throw the football.
And Prince Miller is saying, I never touched it.
Right.
Wide receivers and defensive backs live in a world of their own. Coffee.
You know, one of the things that has been a problem for Georgia in the first part of this season has been penalties. Now, they've kind of won in spite of themselves with that. And Mark Richt told us, you know, we're going to just try to, you know, we want to coach about it and talk about it, but there's a fine line between making too big of a deal and taking away some of your kids' aggressiveness. You don't want to do that. But already we've seen a couple costly penalties prolong that touchdown drive, and then this one right here gave them another opportunity after a pretty good defensive play on first down.
Nice start for Glenn Coffee. 3 carries, 37 yards. Each has been a first down run. He looks much more powerful than he was a year ago. Got a good block on that play, and the pass is complete.
I think we got another roughing the passer, too. We just talked about penalties, and I think we got another one.
Nikita Stover made that catch.
Coming into tonight, Georgia was the worst in the SEC in terms of penalty, averaging 10.8 per game.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 99.
That's Jarius Wynn, the senior, and he should know better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, you want your guys to play aggressive, but watch, as he comes around the pass rush here, another play-action pass on an early down. He gets around Coffee, but he doesn't stop. He hits him clearly late after the ball is thrown. And again, you want your guys to be tough and aggressive and play fast, but you don't want to hurt yourself. And already in both Alabama drives, 2 costly penalties in each drive have kept the drive alive.
I mean, huge. Remember, they had a turnover on the previous drive, and instead of getting the ball, the penalty kept the drive alive. Down to the 5-yard line as Mark Ingram checks in, and he is a great change of pace from Coffee. He's got some moves and has some quicks.
Well, and he's strong. I mean, he's 215 pounds, but he's 5'10". That's what he's listed as. He might even be a little shorter than that. But he runs with a very low center of gravity, and he's a hard guy to tackle. And he's a guy that you have to grab and pull down to the ground. You don't get a lot of just clean shots and knock him down. You got to grab and pull him down.
He came up a little gimpy on that, stays in the game on 2nd and 2. They shift the strength to the right side of the formation. Ingram straight up the middle. And Alabama, Todd, is winning the battle at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that was their strength coming in. You play to your strength, and their strength is their offensive line and their defensive line. And so far, particularly when they have the football, their offensive line is asserting itself.
Andre Smith, who you saw the left tackle, a freshman All-American. Mike Johnson, the left guard, 299. Antoine Caldwell, the center, is on the Remington list as the best center in the country. 3rd and 1.
You want to follow the football, follow 83, McCall. Here he comes in motion.
Ingram.
Great stand by Georgia.
They needed it and needed it badly, and Asher Allen up from the corner along with Jarius Wynn and Akeem Dent, and they pushed him back.
Willie Martinez says if we will play low and play with our hair on fire, we'll be okay, even though these guys are bigger and stronger than we are. And the whole key on short yardage is leverage, staying low, keeping your pads below the offensive lineman's pads, and they were able to do that and get penetration and get a huge stop.
I would imagine if your hair is on fire, you play fast.
But you may not play low all the time.
Or long. Lee Tiffin will try a 23-yard field goal. And hooks it through perfectly. What a great start for the Crimson Tide. They're up 10-0 at Georgia. Ball brings you an AFC North showdown. Ray Lewis and the Ravens go to Pittsburgh to take on Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. It's Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. The Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS. And I wonder if Ben Roethlisberger, after those 8 sacks, is still feeling a little creaky before this one. You never were sacked 8 times in a game, were you?
I don't know. I was sacked a lot. I don't remember I was ever 8 times. I can remember watching the Steelers-Chiefs games, though, before I got drafted, and they sacked the Chiefs quarterbacks 11 times. I said, boy, I hope I don't go there. Next year, I was in a Chiefs uniform.
But it never happened at Penn State. Did you get sacked 8 times in a year? Let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese, what do you have?
Mike just wanted to check in on the other games on the family of networks. As you see, Daniel Dufresne of Illinois getting inside the red zone against Penn State. Some watching that on ABC, and Illinois on the move early in that game. And on ESPN2, LSU got off to a sluggish start, but Charles Scott scored a touchdown. It is now 10-3 over Mississippi State. They've just started the second quarter.
All right, thanks, Reese.
I think what we got to see here from Georgia, it's good to have an experienced quarterback now. No time to panic. Matthew Stafford, and see if they can get the ball in the hands of A.J. Green a little bit. We've seen Marino. Now let's get number 8 involved and kind of make this Alabama defense play everything.
Well, this is a team that knows it can score points. They're averaging 35 points a game so far. Check in with Holly.
Well, Georgia quarterback Matthew Stafford knows how young and inexperienced his offensive line is, so he's constantly trying to build them up. Just on the sidelines, he was standing here before they took the field, and he told them, guys, we got to get out there and tack. Right now, I need you to own the line of scrimmage.
And that's going to be a tall order because this is a very young line. They have talent, but everybody in this league has talent. Experience goes a long, long way. Stafford will go to the shotgun. And throws incomplete, intended for a sensational freshman, A.J. Green. Here's a flag.
No flag. No. Now, if that would have been a quarterback, it would have been a flag. It was a couple offensive and defensive linemen.
That's the end of the first quarter.
First quarter just flew by, especially if you're from Alabama. It's 10-0. ESPN's college football primetime is available in sparkling clear. ESPN HD. It has been clear so far here at Georgia that Alabama right now is the better football team.
Well, and they forced Georgia into situations that they don't necessarily want to be in.
Look at this. Nick Saban's team has not trailed at all this year. And only 26 and a half minutes have they been tied. They have just dominated people.
Third down play for Georgia in the game. All of them have been in the 6 to 9 yard range.
A.J. Green has still not caught a pass. Stafford, good protection, looking. Throws for Green, double teamed and almost had it. Marquise Johnson got a piece, it appeared.
Well, A.J. Green, the thing that stands out to me about him, he has great body control. I mean, he can go up in the air and snatch the football, but that was excellent defense. 2 guys there, and Marquise Johnson actually batted the ball away before A.J. Green could snatch it out of the air.
And Green got away with a push. Here's a very poor kick, and it takes a bounce back toward the 40-yard line. It is an 18-yard punt for Brian Mims, who came in averaging nearly 44 yards a kick. That pass went 50 yards further than the punt.
Well, a difficult situation again for the Georgia defense. A short field for John Parker Wilson and the Alabama offense.
We want to send our best out to a huge Georgia fan, Sean Meadows, a wounded warrior at Walter Reed. He is from Georgia, and he's rehabbing there. We wish him all the best and thank him for his service, and he is rooting hard for the Bulldogs tonight. Coffee.
There's that run to the left side. I mean, that's their bread and butter. Running to the left side of the formation between Andre Smith, Mike Johnson, the left guard, and the tight end Travis McCall. I mean, they are so solid on that side of the line. And those guys are big and strong, but they also move their feet well.
No wonder Coffey's averaging 8.5 yards a carry. I mean, they just clean house over there. Georgia has to find an answer because they're being dominated early in this game. Coffee again, straight up the middle. It's enough for a first down to move the sticks.
Again, going back to the beginning of the telecast, I mean, the strength for Georgia was their skill, their strength outside. The strength for Alabama was inside, their offensive and defensive lines. And so far, that strength has got the upper hand. I mean, they are controlling the line of scrimmage on both offense and defense. Take a look at that. 21 plays for Alabama. Georgia only 8. They can't get them off the field right now.
And 101 yards total offense already. Georgia only gives up 275 a game. Nice play action fake, tremendous protection. Julio Jones inside the 10, still on his feet, dives. We're going to say he's out of bounds at the 5. Well, he's got some moves. Pretty after the catch.
Again, the play action pass, you've got to respect it. That makes it easy to pass protect. Look at the linebackers chasing the fake, and Julio Jones finds a weak spot right behind the linebackers, and then the balance afterwards. This is a long developing crossing route, but the protection is excellent because of the run fake. Julio Jones finds the hole and then shows what he can do with the ball after the catch. Stepped out right there.
Coffee.
Coffee, the ball carrier.
About a yard. Well, you know, as a quarterback, you get the kind of protection he got on the play before. And it's pretty easy to play that position then.
But the reason he's getting that protection is they are out of third down passing situations. They are passing when they want, when they can dictate to the defense and say, hey, you've got to respect run and pass, and we're mixing it up. When it's third and long and you have to pass, then it's easier to play defense. That's the problem Georgia's having. Their passing situations have been third and long.
John Parker Wilson, perfect so far. 5 out of 5, 78 yards on the night. Coffee off that left side, cuts back, dives, touchdown. 78-71. Johnson and Smith on that offensive line just owned the left side.
Andre Smith, Travis McCall, they pull the guard around on that. Mike Johnson pulls around.
Nikita Stover, the wide receiver, got a block. Everybody did their job. I want to tell you, 92,000 of them are wearing black, and they are not making any noise at all. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. Number 3 against number 8, and right now number 8 is burying number 3. It's 17-0. Where Marcus Brown is deep to receive. It's been since 1942, the middle of World War II, that these teams have met while they were both undefeated and ranked in the top 10. So far, it is a mismatch. Brown driven a yard deep. They could use a big return, and they are not going to get it. Brown comes to a screeching halt at the 22. Let's check in with Reese.
Mike, SportsCenter right now. Pennant race is coming down to the last couple of days. The Phillies have clinched the National League East. The Mets and Brewers tied for the wild card with the day to play. And, of course, the story in college football today. Ole Miss beat Florida in the Swamp, 31-30, the second top 5 team to go down to an unranked opponent this week. SportsCenter after the game. ESPN News, you can always stay current.
And there's Trip Chandler, who is their outstanding tight end, and they are short in that department tonight anyway.
Well, he got banged up last week in Tempe, and he looks like he's favoring that right shoulder. That affects their running game a lot more than their passing game, having that tight end on the field.
Bruce Figgins was already hurt, and the third guy listed as a tight end is Keontae Tripp, who started the season as their left tackle and was found walking there and has been moved to the tight end spot at least tonight. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, the mood on the Georgia sideline is stunned. It is dead quiet. None of the emotion is coming from the players. They're just sitting there. They're quietly sitting, listening to the coaches. The only emotion I've seen is from the coaching staff. Very quiet. Rennie Curran, the fired-up linebacker, was very quiet, and he went over to injured Donnell Ellerby and just said, man, we're not talking out there. We're not talking anywhere right now.
I think they're all stunned right now, Holly. Aaron White, number 81, has come in as a tight end because Tripp is obviously going to be used as a blocker, and that's about it. Stafford under pressure. Gets away, goes forward, gets to the 30-yard line, swallowed up by Luther Davis. One guy we haven't pointed out yet is in the middle of that Alabama defense, and it's Mount Cody. Terrence Cody, number 62, who was 6'5", 365, but that's a shadow of what he once was. He was at 420 in junior college.
Yeah, he's been a great story for Alabama so far. Nick Saban, when he was recruiting him, told him if you get to 390 by signing date, we'll offer you a scholarship. He did it. He said, now I want you to be 370 by June. He barely missed that, but he's playing in the 360 to 365 range right now and playing very well in the middle.
They show blitz. They come with it. Stafford on the run, throws complete to Green, but it's taken away and intercepted by Dante Hightower. Popped right out of Green's hands, and Hightower goes the other way with it.
Unbelievable. They get a first down conversion. Nice little rollout by Stafford. They get A.J. Green in the game, and it looks like he might turn this into a big play because the defense is flowing fast, but he loses the ball, and another true freshman, Dante Hightower, plucks it out of the air. I thought he was going to turn that upfield and turn it into a big-time play. Instead, the ball gets knocked out by Justin Woodall, and Hightower comes away with the interception.
Woodall, who was a great high school baseball player, turned down a big contract because he wanted to play college football. And Murphy's Law is in operation tonight. If it can go wrong, it has so far for Georgia. Mike McCoy.
Another first down pass for Alabama. Their plan coming in has been beautiful. Now John Parker Wilson is 6 for 6 throwing the football. 3 passes on first down, 3 passes on second down, no throws on third down so far in the game. They are throwing on early downs, and they have really got this Georgia defense way back on their heels.
Even people that would have no chance to understand some of the nuances of play calling, I think, can recognize this.
Yeah.
This is a beautifully called offensive game so far. Roy Upchurch, number 5, is in as a wide receiver. Check it as the running back, and Upchurch will go inside the 20, pick up a couple. Here's Holly.
Georgia wide receiver A.J. Green is beside himself on the sideline, guys. He cannot be consoled right now. He came off, and senior and veteran wide receiver Muhammad Massaquoi grabbed him, got in his face, was very physical with him, trying to shake him out of it. But, guys, he's been kneeling down by himself over on the side. He is so upset with that interception.
Holly, when we met with him the other day, he is about as quiet a young man as you will ever meet. And it's hard to see him have that kind of emotion because you know what kind of a quiet kid he really is. Well, but obviously, he knows what kind of skill he has. But Stafford, it was a great play for him. He reached in and knocked it out. And you're right, that could have been a huge play, Todd.
Well, the thing is, Georgia just can't panic. I mean, Matthew Stafford has been in some battles. He's a third-year starter. A.J. Green, this is only his 5th game as a Georgia Bulldog. There's a lot of football left to be played. They just got to cheer for their defense right now and hope they can get another stop and force another field goal attempt right here.
John Parker Wilson to the shotgun on 3rd and long. What's that in the flat? Got McCoy. McCoy has a first down at the 8. And officially, that is not going to be an interception. It's going to be a fumble recovery. They rule it a catch, and then the ball popped loose, and McCoy is grabbing that right hamstring and waving to the sideline to come out of the ballgame. That's not a good sign.
No. But John Parker Wilson looks great tonight, doesn't he? That was his first 3rd down completion. The first time he had to stick a throw in there on 3rd down, and just threw it on perfect rhythm and timing for another first down for the Tide.
He's off to a pretty decent start.
Yes,
7 out of 7, 100 yards. And everything's been on the money. Could it be 8 for 8? No.
That was good defense by Prince Miller that time.
He was covering Jones, and that's a big assignment.
Yeah, Prince Miller's only 5'8". And Willie Martinez says, you know, I think our corners are pretty physical. I don't worry about them out in the field. I do have concerns when we get in the red zone. That's where we don't match up really well against their big receivers. That time he was up against 6'4" Julio Jones, but he did a nice job of fighting for him with the football.
7:37 to go in the first half. Number 3 Georgia is being shut out 17-0 by visiting number 8 Alabama. Upchurch off that left side again. Hurdles the tackler inside the 5. It'll be 3rd and goal. Rennie Curran, who the coaches say, you know, you look at Rennie Curran with his gear on. He's only 5'11", 228. Other teams immediately assume they can take advantage of him. The guns on this guy. He was wearing a long sleeve shirt the other day, and he looked like he was carrying car parts in it instead of arms.
Well, they say he is the stamp of the Georgia defense, a real throwback competitor, and they feed off of him. But as Holly mentioned earlier, even he's a little bit quiet so far in this game.
Jones and Stover are the widest receivers. Draw play, Upchurch walks in, touchdown. Holy cow.
Wow. Another great play call by Jim McElwain. A.J. Green knows his turnover set Alabama up, but Alabama has just looked outstanding on offense so far.
This was supposed to be a blackout. It's a public mugging instead.
We've seen Alabama throw when everybody thought run, and right there we saw him run when everybody in this stadium thought pass.
Another Georgia mistake leads to another score. Holy cow, 24-0.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by DirecTV, must-have equipment for any sports fan, and Volkswagen, Das Auto, it's what the people want.
Back in Athens, where it is 24-0. Yes, you heard me. 24-0 second quarter. Alabama.
And not good news if you're a Georgia fan. Last year, their largest deficit was 10 points against Kentucky. They came back to win 24-13, but this is a much, much bigger hole.
Well, the good news is this is a team with a lot of offensive weapons. They can score. Maybe the biggest problem right now is stopping Alabama.
And stopping themselves. I mean, the miscues for Georgia. A pass interference penalty in the first Alabama touchdown drive was followed by a roughing the passer penalty. Both of those were huge. And then on a 3rd down, they get the conversion. A.J. Green can't secure the football. And Alabama gets the turnover and sets up another touchdown drive. So the first thing that Georgia has to do is stop hurting themselves. And then they've got to worry about, okay, how can we stop Alabama?
And a team like Alabama that wants to run the ball and play tough defense thrives on turnover.
Yep.
It's like blood in the water for sharks. Stafford straight back to throw. Good protection and throws, and he's got his freshman wide receiver, A.J. Green.
But you made up a good point there as far as they have playmakers. They can score. And the only thing Georgia can't do right now is panic and say, we've got to score 24 points in a hurry, because they've got a whole half of football and 6.5 minutes left in this first half. They just need to get some momentum, get some positive things, let their defense get regrouped, and hopefully put some points on the board before halftime. And that's the way they got to think right now. No time to panic for Matthew Stafford in this offense.
And no reason to abandon the run, not when you have a guy like Marino.
Yeah, you don't
break it any time.
Don't want him to be taken out of the game, that's for sure.
And here he is. But they've got to do a better job blocking for him. Luther Davis made that tackle. Mark Richter has done such a great job, Todd. I mean, he has really done. Two-time SEC Coach of the Year. He just had a brilliant career here at Georgia.
And he's got, you know, he's an interesting person, because I really like Mark. I've known him for a long time. I mean, he's a man of deep faith, and he's got a kind of a quiet demeanor about him, but he has a fiery competitor on the inside. I mean, don't kid yourself for 1 minute that he is not a competitive guy, because he will fight you, but very calm demeanor on the outside.
Stafford Felt the pressure, has to roll. A nice throw by Stafford back against the grain, and he found Marino coming out of the backfield. Corey Reamer made the tackle, and Stafford has thrown the ball exceptionally well so far.
Well, he has a gifted arm. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. He has as good of an arm as anybody I've seen in college football in the last few years. And where he's really made some strides this year is in his footwork and his athleticism. I mean, this is a guy that when he came here as a freshman, he weighed 245 pounds. He's down to 230 now. He has worked to make himself a better athlete, and it shows in those kind of plays where he has to leave the pocket and make a play.
Georgia uses a timeout with 4:58 to go first half. Georgia trying to make something happen on offense. Welcome back. Let's take a look at tonight's Aflac trivia question. What legendary sports writer is commonly credited with coining the phrase "between the hedges"? This may be the first one I've gotten right in 3 years.
Wow, I didn't. So.
All right, we'll start keeping track this week. I'm ahead 1-0. You can still think about it. Georgia is thinking about getting on the scoreboard before the half expires.
Big third down here. They converted their last third down, but had the turnover.
Stafford under pressure, couldn't find that receiver initially. Throws this one out of bounds, and the Alabama sideline wants an intentional grounding call, and they might get it. Lorenzo Washington was putting the pressure on.
Lorenzo Washington is a guy who played nose guard last year.
Intentional grounding, number 7. Offense. Quarterback was outside the tackles, but the pass did not land beyond the previous spot. Penalties lost it down. That spot was foul. 4th down.
He gets outside the tackle, but he doesn't get it across the line of scrimmage because of the pressure from Lorenzo Washington. Washington last year played inside at nose, and they moved him out because they got Terrence Cody. They were able to move him out to defensive end, and he is much better suited playing on the outside.
And he was 275. There's no way he could play inside and be effective because the guy in there now is 365. Mims, who had a poor punt the last time, kicking to Arenas. Arenas breaks a couple of tackles, takes it up over the 35 to the 37. The battle for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues tomorrow on ABC. Greg Biffle trying to go 3 for 3 by taking his 3rd straight race. But points leader Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, and the rest of the Chase drivers will be after him. It's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series in Kansas. Tomorrow on ABC, coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown at 1 Eastern, and my partner, the Gearhead, will be watching. Won't you, GH?
Oh, I'll probably take a peek. You know, I mean, you don't have to watch continually. You can kind of peek back in. They're still going around.
Still turning left.
Yeah. Check it out.
Can Alabama add to this margin? John Parker Wilson thinks so. Coffee, who has done a little bit of everything tonight, up to the 43. Prince Miller, who's been very active on defense, made the stop.
I don't know if John Parker Wilson, I don't know how he slept last night in the hotel, but whatever he dreamed about this game, I'm not sure he could have played any better in his dream than he's playing right now. I mean, he has absolutely been on point with everything they've done offensively. He's managed the game. He's thrown the ball extremely well, and he has kept this Georgia defense befuddled.
2nd and 4. Coffee, 1st down and more.
See, when you can run the football, it does so much. Number one, what it does is it shuts up a crowd. I mean, you're playing in front of this huge crowd, and when you can run the football right at somebody and just punch them right in the mouth like this, it makes a bunch of people sit on their hands in the stands. The other thing it does is it demoralizes a football team because you feel like you've been punched in the gut. And the third thing it does, it opens up all kinds of things in your play-action passing game and helps everything about your offense.
Coffee again. This is like one of those 2 o'clock in the morning Ronco commercials. They're slicing, dicing, cutting, and chopping.
So funny because I talked to Willie Martinez yesterday, all of us did, and I said, you know, Willie, I don't mean to bring up a bad subject, but 2 years ago we were here to do a Tennessee game, and at that time you guys were 5-0 and had the nation's leading scoring defense.
Yep.
And Tennessee came in here and scored 51 points on them. They won 51-33. They come in tonight with these great numbers of stopping the run. But they haven't played a team that's been committed to running the way this Alabama team, or with an offensive line as good as this bunch.
John Parker Wilson again on first down, or check it, second down this time, and completes it down to the 26-yard line. And John Parker Wilson approaching that passing record as far as yardage is concerned. He's a senior this year out of Hoover. Major League Baseball draft pick. His brother plays baseball for Alabama, and his mom was a cheerleader. He only needed 190 yards coming in to break Brody Croyle's record for yardage. He already owned total yards, completions, and touchdown passes. He's got 117 right now. More importantly, his team is up 24-0. Upchurch will get a carry.
You know, one of the things Holly mentioned that Nick Saban and the staff wanted to see out of John Parker Wilson was him stepping up his leadership. One of the other things that they wanted him to do was in his decision-making to be more of a businessman and less emotional. He's in his career, he's been kind of a high-emotion guy, and you don't want to take that personality away from him. But as a quarterback and as a decision-maker, Coach Saban was saying, hey, we need you to make more solid business-type decisions. You're a business major. You're a smart kid in school. Apply that to the football field, and he is doing that tonight.
They only have 10 scholarship seniors. John Parker Wilson is one of them. Nobody else in big-time college football has played fewer. And this pass intended for Jones is a touchdown. Are you kidding?
Well, you saw on that play the strength of Julio Jones because he used his left arm and his big upper body to push the defender away and then catch the ball over his right shoulder. Brian Evans was in coverage, number 3, and Julio Jones was able to kind of give him a little shove with his left arm and then fade out to the ball. A beautiful throw by John Parker Wilson over the outside arm where you're supposed to put it.
Jones now with 4 catches, 79 yards. The point after is good. It is 31-0. Alabama has made the crowd even more quiet, if that's possible, with 1:25 to go in the first half. This is an old-fashioned country butt kick. And Georgia is supplying the butt. 31-0. Ball fell off the tee. And I don't know what the crowd's upset about. Of course, they've got to take out their frustration on something.
Delay of game on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Still kicking.
That was just simply a case of the kicker, Tiffin, just saying, I don't want to kick this one. Because you see this happen if the ball blows off the tee or falls off, but the ball doesn't do anything. And Tiffin just kind of says, no, I want to do it over. But he's not sure what the problem was. Maybe he thought he heard a whistle.
It's the first thing they've done wrong all night.
Yeah.
So they move it back to the 25. And Tiffin will kick to Marcus Brown, who retreats to the 7. Brown has a seam to the 44. A little bit of good news, and let's check in with Reese.
All right, Mike, coming up on the Pontiac G6 halftime report, we've already had a gargantuan upset in the SEC on this day. A slugfest down on the plains between Tennessee and Auburn. Also tell you about baseball and the hunt for October, in addition to getting you up to date on Illinois, Penn State, and LSU in a little more trouble against Mississippi State than you might have thought. Mark and Lou will join me. We'll see you in a bit.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. Wasn't the Mississippi-Florida game just staggering? Yeah. Mississippi winning in the swamp. 1:17 to go here. Matthew Stafford running for his life. Hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Pressure coming from Eric Anders, the linebacker. And Nick Saban, throughout his career, has always stressed defense, and he brings pressure.
Well, he's very creative. He knows how to attack pass protection. And right now, I mean, he's just kind of smiling because he knows Georgia has to throw. They've got to get into pass sets, and they've got an inexperienced young offensive line. And so we can just attack. We don't have to worry about the run as much right now, winning 31-0. We can just go after Matthew Stafford.
Right now, they don't have to worry about anything. They'll whistle this play dead.
Before the snap, false start, number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Our Aflac trivia question tonight: what legendary sports writer commonly credited with coining the phrase "between the hedges"? Who was it?
I don't know.
Grantland Rice. I'm ahead 1-0.
Okay. We'll
Contest is over.
Oh, it's over.
Jeez. If I ever get the lead, it's over. 2nd and 15. 1 minute, 10 seconds to go in the first half of a stunner. Alabama showing a 4-man rush draw play. Marino.
You know, so much was made during the week about on Tuesday, I think it was, Alabama's practice strength coach Scott Cochran, a very high energy guy, was caught warming up the guys and saying that the blackout in Georgia, all the fans are wearing black because they're going to go to their own funeral. They're going to a funeral at Sanford Stadium, and it got on YouTube, and of course it was made to be a big deal. Was it going to fire up the Georgia team? And Mark Richt kind of responded to it by wearing black to his press conference the next day. But I tell you what, this has been kind of deadly for Georgia. There's no question about that.
Mark Richt was hoping the whole thing with black jerseys would have a good effect on his team. Nick Saban says, I don't think it'll make any difference. Right now, it's Saban 1-0.
Boy, what an arm. I mean, you know, it's still fun to watch Matthew Stafford on a play like that where, I mean, there's pressure again coming. I mean, even though this has been a struggle for the Georgia football team tonight, he is a special player, Matthew Stafford, and there's certain things that make him unique. Number one, it's arm strength. Again, he's got as good an arm as anybody I've seen in college football for a long time. He can really make all the throws, and he can throw whether he's balanced or not. His footwork has really improved. I mean, he has really worked in this offseason to be a better athlete, and it shows. And then his experience. This is his 3rd year as a starter. I mean, he's a guy who has been there and done that. And certainly he has not been here trailing 31-0, but he is going to have to be a great leader for this football team in the locker room.
It wasn't that long ago where you said they don't have to abandon what they're trying to do. Well, 31-0, maybe you do.
31-0 suggests you do, but you better not take 24 out of the football game. Throw him the football. Do something, because Marino is too good of a football player not to have him a part of what you do in the second half.
Blitz coming. Up for grabs and intercepted. Picked off by Justin Woodall. And Woodall back to the 17-yard line.
But pressure again. That time, I think it was Brandon Dedrick who gets pressure. Number 95 is going to force him out of the pocket, and he tries to throw off that back foot and just not able to get enough on it. And of course, Alabama's playing safe defense. I mean, they're rushing 3 or 4. They're playing everybody back. And Woodall there for his 3rd interception of the season.
That's his first in 121 throws. Small consolation to Matthew Stafford. Small consolation to Georgia. And remember all the hoop-de-doo when they paid Nick Saban, what, $4 million a year to coach this team? There are people in Alabama right now that think he ought to get a raise.
Well, the big lesson for Alabama after last year. Can they finish? They've got to do a better job of finishing. Well, they finished the first half. We'll see if they can finish the football game.
Did they ever? Let's go to Holly.
Coach, what must you do to regroup your football team right now?
Right now, we just got to start playing hard and not turn it over and not get the penalties we get. But we got to fight. We got to fight right now.
How do you do that, though, when your quarterback's under duress like he has been?
Just got to block better. Give him a chance, right?
But the body language, how do you get him back into this game mentally?
I didn't see his body language. I'm not in charge of that. Were you studying that?
I meant with your defense.
Oh, okay. We just got to get after their ass. That's the whole thing.
All right, thanks, Coach.
I like the last answer. Our halftime score, 31-0 Alabama. Let's go to Reese Davis in the Pontiac G6 halftime report. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. Here are the first half stats, and they are a true reflection of what happened in the first 2 quarters of football. It is a mismatch. Alabama, 231 total yards to 86 for Georgia, and 2 big Georgia turnovers. Time of possession is more than doubled. And Todd, 31-0 is a true reflection of what's happened.
Absolutely. That was a dominant performance by the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Marcus Brown from the 12. And up to about the 26. Welcome back to Athens, Georgia, everybody. Georgia won the toss, and it's been downhill from there.
Well, they kicked off, and they never did stop Alabama. And I think the key to that first half was Alabama's willingness to throw on early downs. And John Parker Wilson had a hot hand. He only threw the ball 11 times, but he completed 10 of them, and he averaged almost 14 yards per completion. So all that did was set up the run, put the Georgia defense on its heels, and then defensively, they got after Matthew Stafford, particularly when they got the lead. Georgia just has to approach this now as this is a new football game, the second half. Can't think about the score. They have to think about just executing and playing football.
Marino across the 30 to about the 31. That is only his 6th carry of the ball game. And you don't expect him to get that many more because of the way the score stands. And that's got to hurt that young man because he loves to compete, he loves to play, and he is unbelievably talented.
Well, he can also catch the football, and he's a good pass protector, so you keep him in the game, but you still have to get his hands on the football, even if you don't line him up in the eye and hand it to him a bunch of times in the second half.
He had averaged about 17 carries a game coming in. Flag is down.
Dead ball foul. False start. Number 86. Offense. Was not on the end of the line of scrimmage. Put his hand down and picked it up. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's Trip Chandler, the tight end, who was hurt earlier. Good to see him back in the ball game. And the penalties rearing their heads again.
It's been a problem all year for Mark Richt's team. Worse than the SEC coming in. They've been able to kind of win in spite of them the first 4 games of the year, but they've hurt themselves with it tonight.
Yeah, the penalties they've had in this game have been killers. Stafford, boy, what an arm he has. Completes it to Chris Durham, and here's Holly.
Well, guys, catching up with Nick Saban at halftime, he was as intense as I've ever seen him. He said, we haven't accomplished anything yet. This is a new ball game. This is a very good football football team we're going against. What it really comes down to is his team's ability to finish. Everything they do is about finishing, from their fourth quarter program to how they run practice to how they do their reps, guys. Alabama will see if any of that has had an effect with how they finish the second half.
Well, I was so impressed with what they looked like in the first half.
Oh.
We saw them a couple times last year. They are so different looking than they were last year. They're playing faster. They're playing with more confidence. And that idea of finishing, that's the big deal with Nick Saban.
Down the middle again. This one complete to the 31, Durham again. And yet, I don't know a coach who has ever coached who can go in a locker room with a 31-0 lead and say, hey, guys, it's 0-0.
Well, he knows how talented Matthew Stafford is. And you don't want to let these guys off the mat. Matthew Stafford, a nice throw, couple throws in a row. Here's the guy in the middle, Terrence Cody, going against a true freshman, Ben Jones, who's doing all right. Ben Jones is an Alabama kid. He's from Centerville, Alabama. He's a hard-nosed, tough guy, and he's got his hands full. That Terrence Cody, the thing about him and what he has done for Nick Saban's defense is Nick Saban's a 3-4 defensive guy, not a 4-man defensive front. He likes to base his defense out of a 3-man front. The only way you can do that is if you have a stud playing in the middle on the nose.
Sir.
You have to have an anchor point for that 3-4 defense. He did not have it last year. He developed a freshman who is a backup, Josh Chapman, but then he went out and got Terrence Cody, and Cody has played great for him this year. And everything revolves around his ability to hold the point in the middle.
Absolutely. That was Durham being helped off the field. That last block by Ben Jones, the center, he did a great job one-on-one. Jones is from Alabama and has a brother who is a catcher on the Alabama baseball team. He chose to come to Georgia to play football. He's not a dainty little guy himself, no. 305, but he looks small next to Mount Cody. First down at the 30, Marino. Got some room, stiff-armed, and goes down just inside the 25-yard line. Woodall and Arenas out of the secondary made the tackle.
Well, here's a sweep to the right side, but let's watch the big guys again. Jones going against Cody, leaning on each other, pushing on each other. I mean, they're 20 yards away from the play, but they're still fighting to the end of the whistle. I mean, this is a fun battle between these guys. Even though the score is 31-0, don't tell Ben Jones that. He's still fighting and scrapping.
Boy, he is. And he won those last couple of matchups. Alabama trying to come out, get something done here on offense. And that pass was intended for Michael Moore. He never saw the ball.
Yeah, he never knew where the ball was thrown.
Flag down in the secondary.
Looks like an ineligible man downfield. Maybe that's why. Maybe it was a run play called and a late check by Stafford because there was a lineman downfield and the receiver never looked for the ball.
Number 79, offense, was downfield. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
Justin Anderson, who, as they shifted the line, moved up from backup right tackle to the starter at that spot.
Now this offensive line, you know, we should mention, too, they lost their best offensive lineman to an injury before the season started.
Yeah.
Trenton Sturdivant was their starting left tackle, started all year last year. He injured a knee and is lost for the year, and they've been kind of reshuffling this line ever since.
Stafford tucks it. He is hardly known for his running ability, and now Stafford real slow to get up.
Yeah, he got slammed down pretty hard from behind. Brandon Dedrick was chasing him and drove him into the turf pretty good. This was kind of an odd play, second and long yardage, just a quarterback sweep. I mean, this was a quarterback keep, and watch Dedrick from behind just kind of slams him down into the ground.
I don't know that they'll be calling that one again.
I don't think so.
In fact, he might get in the coach's office, find a playbook, and just take that one out in the dead of night. Four-man rush. Stafford, good protection this time. Floats it for the end zone. Really threw it up for grabs, and it's incomplete. double coverage intended for Moore. Woodall was back there. That was not a good throw.
No, and it was kind of a frustration throw by Matt Stafford because he was looking. We've seen him do this a couple times, try to throw the deep route into double coverage, and I don't think he feels too good. I mean, he came to the sideline with his shoulders hunched over a little bit. I don't think he's recovered completely from that run.
They'll try for a 43-yard field goal, and Georgia gets on the board with 11:07 to go in the third quarter. Coming up, we will pay tribute to the legendary Larry Munson, who retired this week as the voice of the Bulldogs.
We threw it to Haynes. We just stepped it with 5 seconds left. My God almighty, did you see what he did? We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose.
Todd, we just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. That's what a homer can do on radio. The legendary Larry Munson retiring this week. He had been doing home games only. And tributes all around to a great announcer. There is such a tremendous relationship between a radio play-by-play announcer and the home fans. And he did it as well as anybody for a long, long time. Arenas for Alabama on the return. When people remember your individual calls on games, that's great.
I'm sure they'll have commemorative CDs coming out too.
Yeah,
probably.
Why not?
A collection of some of Larry's best. I just got a note they already have 3, but they'll come out with a deluxe fourth one, a retirement.
Yeah, have a box set.
Yeah.
Coffee. Now, we're not sure if this was done by farmers or aliens, but it is a cornfield tribute to Larry Munson at the Southern Bell Farm in a 7-acre parcel of a cornfield. Now, how's that? That's a pretty good job. Yeah. Gotta wonder how you do that. John Parker Wilson, who has been spectacular, throws this one away. That's a good decision.
Yep.
Had a tight end, Nick Walker, out there, well covered, not going to take any chances.
We talked about the loss of Sturdivant on the offensive side for Georgia, but there's been a couple key losses to this defensive line as well that you can see they're missing him tonight. Their best defensive tackle, Jeff Owens, a senior, was injured in the opening game. They lost him for the year. They don't have the depth at tackle that they would have had with him. And then their best defensive end, or most experienced, Roderick Battle, injured his neck early in the season. He's been out for, this will be his 3rd game out. They certainly missed those 2 guys' presence at a time like this against an opponent like this.
And you see the Georgia players trying to get the fans psyched up, get them back in the game.
Yep. It's a good pressure. You know, they got score. They got 3 points. They got a 3-and-out now by their defense. And they just are looking at this game. And I'm sure Mark Richt told them, hey, it's not 31-0. It's 0-0. We just have to play the second half like it's a brand new game and not worry about the scoreboard. Play with urgency, play with passion, but let's just go out there and try to make some plays.
This will be the first punt of the night for the Alabama kicker, P.J. Fitzgerald. Georgia, throughout Mark Richt's career, has been great at kick blocking. They don't come after this one, and a low, short kick, which takes a good bounce for Alabama, will roll inside the 25-yard line. A kick of 42 with the roll. Here's tonight's Good Hands flashback presented by Allstate. September 22nd of last year in Tuscaloosa after Alabama made a field goal to put the Tide up 23-20 in overtime. Matthew Stafford to Mikey Henderson on a 25-yard pass. That's our Good Hands flashback presented by Allstate. What a great throw by Stafford. He can only hope he will have to get that opportunity again tonight.
Well, what a difference a year makes, huh? For Georgia, for Alabama,
Unreal.
for Britney Spears. She's got her life back together.
Even here. Yes, she does.
Yeah.
New CD, Circus, which her whole life has been. Stafford deep post, threw it up for grabs, nearly had it picked again. Massaquoi was back there and had 3 guys around him. The closest was Rashad Johnson.
Now, I think one thing that Matthew Stafford's going to have to do, he didn't do it on the last 3rd down play. He can't just force the ball down the field. He's hit a few crossing routes, but Alabama is going to play the deep routes. He's got to know where his outlets are as well. I mean, he's thrown into double coverage 4 or 5 times tonight. And Alabama is they're going to give him some underneath throws. He's got to look for some of his backs drifting out of the backfield potentially. Short passes, maybe they can make a guy miss, turn it into a bigger play.
Yeah, he'll get burned on that eventually. Already had 1 picked off. Pressure coming. Stafford runs away from it, still under pressure. Down he goes, threw it away, and got it back to the line of scrimmage. So there's no penalty. Kareem Jackson was the last guy that got him after Brandon Dederick got the initial pressure.
Well, Brandon Dederick is playing a nice ball game. Now, nobody blocked him on this play, but he stayed at home. He didn't follow the play fake. He stayed at home on his defensive end position and forced Stafford to throw a wild one on the move.
Now 3rd and 10 from their own 25-yard line.
The last time they were in a 3rd and long situation, he tried to force it downfield, and he had a fullback out in the flat open underneath. Let's see what he sees on this 3rd down play.
5 wide receivers out. They want a screen. They come back to Marino. They weren't going to let the screen to develop this time. Outstanding defense. Ali Sharif was right there in the middle of that screen. Let's go to Holly.
Guys, Georgia running back Noshawn Marino hurt himself on that last play where he was trying to block a cut block and hit the ground hard. He appears to have injured his right wrist. He was kneeling on the ground just then. He's in quite a bit of pain. They're going to take him over to the training table and examine him. But a wrist injury for a running back, not a good thing.
Last thing they can afford being banged around the way this game has gone is to lose Noshawn Marino. Mims to kick to Arenas. And another bounce for Alabama. Coming up, the taste of the town. Todd comes to Athens. What he got was automatic. You'll understand in a second.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by the all-new 2009 7-passenger Kia Borrego. Visit KiaBorrego.com for more information. And Chase Freedom, introducing rewards points you can use like cash. Visit chase.com/freedom.
Aerial coverage of tonight's game provided to you by Goodyear. Football's rough, your commute shouldn't be. So get there on Goodyear's Silent Armor technology. Alabama takes over in great field position, its own 47. Coffee got to the 50. Now it's time for Todd's Taste of the Town, brought to you by Chase.
In 1986, a guy named Weaver D opened a restaurant here in Athens, Georgia, after many years in the food industry, even at one point roasting and selling peanuts at Georgia football games. Now, the place started as a local hangout for bands and musicians. In fact, the musical group REM named one of their albums after his famous slogan, "Automatic for the People."
We'll see what Todd got in just a second. Got to be gravy involved, doesn't there? Or sauce. Blitz coming, and down goes John Parker Wilson. Middle linebacker Akeem Dent got him. Let's see if there's gravy in this one.
I absolutely love down-home Southern cooking, and a trip to Weaver D's for me means only one thing: fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, broccoli casserole, and his knock-your-socks-off sweet potato souffle.
Automatic.
Automatic is right.
You got to love a guy that can deliver a line like that.
He was perfect. He was into it. Old Weaver D.
Grub looked good, too.
It was good. Outstanding food.
3rd and long. John Parker Wilson. Draw. Nothing doing. You have gone now, what, a season and a half without paying for a meal? You're doing pretty good.
I'm not trying to do that. I mean, but it's kind of working out in my favor that way. But it's been fun. We have a lot of fun doing it, and of course now, you know, the show or the segment has picked up so much momentum that people expect it. And it's still crazy. People don't ask me about football. They ask me where I ate, and when people recognize me, they say, "You're that food guy, aren't you?" Yeah, I'm the food guy. Know a little bit about football too.
Partially blocked. That could have been a huge play going the other way that could have gotten a touchdown out of it. And it figures the way this game has gone tonight, they block a punt, and instead of having something bounce back toward the Alabama goal line for a touchdown, it goes downfield. Zach Runner, a redshirt freshman, split in, got a piece of it.
Yep.
Keep an eye on the middle of the momentum that way.
Right there's Renner coming right over the center. Slips right between the center and the guard. The personal protector is late getting over to try to pick him up. And Georgia, they get a sack in that defensive series and a partially blocked punt.
They have always had great kick blocking players and special teams under Mark Richt. Stafford right back to work to Green. This guy is going to be a big-time receiver.
Well, he's 6'4", 200 pounds. He's not as thick or as physical as Julio Jones, the Alabama freshman receiver, but he's very smooth and fluid, and he has great body control going up in the air to catch a football.
And he attacks the football.
Yes, he does.
He goes after that thing. And wait till he grows a little bit into that body. Wait till they stick him in the weight room for a couple of more years. He's going to be virtually unstoppable. He's another kid who works very hard to get better. Very dedicated to his craft. Marino bounces it outside. Nothing there.
See, that's where Terrence Cody is. I mean, when he just clogs the middle and forces Marino to try to bounce and spin outside, there's nowhere to go. I mean, if you can't get any movement on a big nose guard, I don't care how good your running back is, you're going to have problems. Here's Cody. That's the biggest circle I can make right there. And watch him just hold the point. He takes 2 blockers, and he forces Marino to spin and try to go outside. They can't move a guy like that, and he just clogs and messes up the whole play.
And if you don't have that, and they didn't last year, you cannot play an effective 3-4. They got it now, and they have been tremendous. Stafford back to throw underneath Massaquoi.
See, that's what I think the throws are there for Matthew Stafford. Not the deep down the field, the short, quick ones. Get it out of his hands quick. Let his guys try to make plays. Make a guy miss. Break a tackle. Keep the momentum going. Don't hang on to that ball long. Alabama is really going to try to come after the quarterback, and any shot they can get on Matthew Stafford, they're going to take at this point in the game.
Well, if you happen to get a couple of touchdowns, say in the next 8 minutes, you've made it a 2-touchdown game, and you're back in it.
And your crowd gets back in it.
Absolutely. They're just looking for an excuse. Any excuse. Stafford underneath. That'll be complete to Michael Moore out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Here's Holly.
Well, guys, they examined the right wrist of Knowshon Marino. They did not retape it or anything. They let him go in there. He had tried to carry a ball and see if he was strong enough to do it, and he was. But after that last run, he came off shaking his head. Clearly, at this point in the game, they've got to throw the ball to get back in it. But do you leave him in there as a decoy at least?
Well, I don't know. Caleb King is a pretty good backup, and I don't think you want to take any chance on hurting Marino. And I don't know that you can afford a decoy right now.
I wouldn't keep him in there as a decoy, but if you're going to throw it to him, I would keep him in.
This is King. It's a flanker reverse. Massaquoi is going to throw off of it. Stafford was the intended target. I don't know if you're going to fool him deep on any of these either.
Well, they really tried to trick him a little bit, going with the reverse pass back to the quarterback on the same side. But look, there's three Alabama defenders playing that play. I mean, they are not fooled at all. And what they're thinking right now is, let's not give up a cheap, easy one. That's all we have to do, not give up a cheap one. So the trick play, which you count on fooling at least one or two of them, didn't fool any of them.
3rd and long. 4-man rush. Pressure out of it. Massaquoi inside the 40 to about the 38. And I think you're at the point where you might as well go for it, don't you?
Yeah, you have to go for it right here. And I think it's got to be the same kind of play, a quick throw.
Yep.
Because Alabama's going to pin their ears back and come after Matthew Stafford. If they rush 4, it's just got to be a quick shot into a zone opening. If they bring pressure, you got man-to-man. And Stafford certainly has the arm to make any throw they need right now.
Green, his biggest possible target is wide left. Massaquoi to the right. Blitz coming. Instead, they go over to the middle, and Moore makes the catch. Moore inside the 31st down. So their two most dangerous receivers split out, and they throw it over the middle.
Well, they brought a pressure. They brought Javier Arenas off the slot. And Stafford saw it and went right to the guy where the blitz came from. Arenas came on the pressure. Stafford reads it and hits his receiver right in the open area, Michael Moore.
Clock running, 2:10 to go, 3rd quarter.
This Marino out here, he wasn't sure where he was supposed to line up. That's him right there.
Stafford with a pump fake.
There's that body control by A.J. Green.
Stop fade, and A.J. Green makes the catch. What a sweet-looking receiver.
He has tremendous body control going up in the air for a football. Here he is right here. Watch as he looks back and finds the football and then adjusts his body without losing speed or losing sight of the football. That is just beautiful work by a tall wide receiver. I mean, he's 6'4", but he goes to about 7'2" when he jumps and makes that kind of play.
And Kareem Jackson had no chance. First, he didn't turn around to find the ball, and then the pass was thrown so high he didn't even have a chance to play the receiver's hands and try to knock it away. Stafford throws at the goal line, incomplete, trying to get it to Green. Crowd wanted a penalty, they won't get it.
Well, there was some contact in there, but I think it was kind of incidental. Marquise Johnson, number 24, was on Green, and it actually looked like Green went into Johnson. And there was contact, but I don't think it was pass interference.
Stops the clock at the 1:23 mark. This is about the biggest climb up a hill you're going to find. Still down 4 touchdowns. Marino is back in out of the eye. He'll get the toss. Dives to the corner. Got there. The ball hit the pylon, and it's a touchdown. Well, that's one. They need 3 more. And look at Knowshon Marino. No quitting this kid. There's no quitting any of them.
Nope. And the good thing for Georgia and for Marino, his right wrist is the one that was bothering him. He's got the ball in his left wrist, and it's with that wrist he's able to reach it strongly to the pylon for the touchdown.
Used the sore right wrist for a stiff arm, which got him an extra yard and enough for the touchdown. Georgia has scored 10 in a row. They've cut the lead to 21. Is it possible? College Football Primetime, available in sparkling clear ESPN HD. It was 31-0. Georgia scored the last 10. They will spot the ball at the 30 and kick off from there. Too early for an onside?
I think it might be, only because if you look at Alabama right now, they're waiting for an onside. They've got 6 guys up anticipating an onside kick right now. So you kick this one deep and hope your defense comes through again. Need to kick it deeper than that, though.
Yes, they do. That'll be good field position again. Let's take a look at the ESPNU All-State Standings review. And what a Thursday night. Oregon State, unbelievably at home, knocks off USC, the best-looking ball club that there is. I mean, these guys look like they should beat everybody 45-0. Wow. Oklahoma leading tonight. We saw Oklahoma. That's a great-looking ball club. Georgia going down here. Florida already lost. We'll talk more about this in a second. John Parker Wilson wants to throw on first down tip. And incomplete. And here's Reese.
All right, Mike, over on ESPN2, LSU and Mississippi State. And the Bayou Bengals have been pretty lethargic tonight. Jarrett Lee to Brandon LaFell. They hooked up for the winner against Auburn. Got loose. Dixon winds up recovering it in the end zone, so no disaster for LSU. It's 27-10 there. Sam Bradford and the Sooners are cruising 35-10. Virginia Tech and Nebraska locked up in a good one on ABC.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. 1:05 to go third quarter. And Alabama wants to run the football and work on that clock.
I'll tell you one thing now. One thing that was impressive to me about this Georgia fan base. 31-0 at halftime. Nobody left this stadium.
You're right.
And now if their defense gets another 3 and out right here to close the third quarter, this place is going to get loud again. Because Alabama's had the ball 2 times in the second half. 2 drives, 2 3 and outs.
Well, Mark Richt may have made his point at halftime. I don't know that Nick Saban did. His team hasn't gained a yard in the third quarter. But they still have a huge lead.
Yep.
John Parker Wilson back to throw. 4-man rush. He's in trouble. Trying to run, slips a tackle. Down he goes. They'll have to punt. You know, we took a look at the teams that lost. I'm one of the guys who's been drinking the Kool-Aid for years. I see a team at the top. Yeah. I seem to think they're invincible. You have always cautioned me it's not that way. And guess what? You're right again, because people are biting the dust again this weekend.
We got to keep playing. It's only September. Don't anoint anybody yet.
Well, I'll have one with a lot of ice, please. August 7, the new mascot. Shaken, not stirred, by the way. He looks like he got beat up in the first half.
He might be a little tired, too. First night game, right, for August 7?
Up past his bedtime. They do not come after the kicker. And Mims crushes one out of there. And, whoa, look out. There goes Prince Miller. Are you kidding? Touchdown, 92 yards.
The flag was it was interference to make the catch. I mean, he was very close to getting bumped before the catch was made. I am pretty sure.
Full catch interference. Number 24, kicking team. Fills at the time.
The Georgia coaches are in the box right next to us. They're going crazy. The Bulldogs on the sidelines are going crazy. Mike Patrick, we got ourselves a football game again.
I thought this was a mistake. I figured they had to go for the kick block. Goodbye. Just had to beat Mims, and he did it. A 92-yard punt return for a touchdown. This is the same guy who had 2 big penalties in the first half that hurt him. And he sure redeemed himself with that one. And now, you're right. This gets them within 2 touchdowns with a lot of time. 14:41 to go. Well, this would be
nothing short of miraculous. And credit the rest of the punt return team for Georgia for not getting a penalty. A 92-yard return, a lot of opportunities to block someone in the back or hold. Nobody makes an illegal block, and Prince Miller does the rest. Easy to make the punter miss. And all of a sudden, Alabama, which looked like they were in complete control of this game, is in a ball game.
This would be the biggest fourth quarter comeback in Georgia history. Their biggest deficit all time is 14 points in the fourth quarter. Boy, Nick Saban was upset after that last one. He was pleading his case to one of the officials. He thought there was an illegal block, but there wasn't. Or at least it wasn't called. Dave Dare, our spotter, said, sure looked like one to me. There's the other Uga. Unbelievable. And Todd, you make a great point about the fans who did not leave down 31-0 at the half. Alabama does not have a first down in this half. And now it appears they are going to need one.
Well, let's go back and take one last look at the punt return. It's kind of a moot point now because there was no call, but this might have been what Nick Saban thought was a penalty. Watch right here. It could have been close to a block in the back, but I think the man covering actually turned into it as well. But nonetheless, the call stands no call, and Georgia with another chance for their defense to make a play.
You've got to be kidding.
First half, Alabama 5 possessions, 5 scores. Third quarter, 3 possessions, 3 3-and-outs.
Coffee dragging tacklers with him. He is a good, hard runner. He's not a guy who's going to break a 70-yarder on you very often, but he drives in there.
And he's healthy. You know, last year, when he was healthy, he played well for Alabama. And it's interesting, you talk to the Georgia coaches, and they said, this guy doesn't look anything like the guy that we played against last year. I mean, he is running harder, he's running stronger. He runs kind of upright, different than his backup Ingram, but he is a tough, hard-nosed runner.
2nd and 6. Can Georgia's defense rise up? Pass complete. Jones across midfield. 2 tremendous freshman wideouts in this game.
And we talked about some of the guys that Georgia is missing in this game that were hurt. One guy that got hurt in this ball game, I think it might have been the first possession that Alabama had the ball. One of their leaders, Donnell Ellerbe, their middle linebacker, has been missing since the early parts of this game, out with a knee injury. And he is one of their real leaders. He, along with Rennie Curran, 2 of the best players on this Georgia defense, and they're playing without him.
And Jones just took himself out of the ball game after that catch. Coffee, the single setback. They'll get the handoff from John Parker Wilson. They go right back to that left side. Boy, and I would too. The guys over there are really horses.
Well, Andre Smith has started ever since he walked on campus at Tuscaloosa. He's 6'4", 330 pounds out of Birmingham. And he's an athletic big man. I mean, he really moves his feet well. Mike Johnson, the guy next to him, 6'6", 299 pounds out of Pensacola, Florida. And then Antoine Caldwell, the center. And then you throw in that move tight end, Travis McCall, who's 6'2", 260, number 83. They can really move some people in their running game.
Red zone alert for you. Penn State driving against Illinois. Upchurch is in as the running back. John Parker Wilson to Upchurch. Middle screen, Upchurch. Down to the 20. And at this point, even a field goal would be enormous because it would make it a 3-score game again. Andre Smith leading the play downfield, number 71.
Yep, watch the execution. Watch 71 stick on his man, and Caldwell, 59, is out in front as well. You got Smith and Caldwell, the two leaders, out there leading that screen pass. Both of them got into their man and held him long enough for Upchurch to get by it. Those are your leaders up front. When you needed a play, they came through.
1st and 10, Alabama trying to milk the clock and score. John Parker Wilson scrambling, and down he goes, makes it to the 19-yard line. Asher Allen came in from the corner to put pressure on as Georgia trying to pull out all the stops. There's no reason not to gamble here.
Yeah.
You got to throw everything at them.
And Alabama thinking, let's be smart here. Again, that businessman type decision over an emotional decision for John Parker Wilson. We're in field goal range right now for Lee Tiffin. We've struggled mightily in the 3rd quarter, but if we can get a score here, it becomes a 3-score ball game again.
There's Ellerby, the young man you were talking about, who was hurt early, right at the beginning of this game. Coffee swallowed up in the middle of that defense. Georgia's been much more stout in the 2nd half. Brandon Wood led the charge there. Holly, what do you have?
Well, the Georgia defense is already down one linebacker, but right now Rennie Curran, their real stalwart, has had to go to the sidelines. He's been having cramps for about the last quarter and a half. He's been over on the sideline actually pouring cups of water on the backs of his hamstring. He's been cramping up. You see him over there trying to get some liquids, but they miss him right now because they're already down one starting linebacker.
And Georgia is going to have to burn a timeout on defense. We have 10:34 to go. This is a critical drive.
All right, Reese Davis with you. Going to check out the games on the family of networks on ABC and Happy Valley. Penn State has pushed it to a 10-point lead over Illinois, 24-14. They're inside 9 minutes to go in the 3rd. And LSU is still letting Mississippi State hang around. It's 27-17, about halfway through the 4th quarter. Bulldogs are seeing some highlights there. Just got the ball back. The Bayou Bengals will keep you up to date. Now back to Athens.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. And you get the feeling Penn State's going to have to be dealt with this year. Pretty good ball club. That's a huge play here.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Alabama run the football here. Maybe a draw play.
Upchurch is the back. Nice call. And Upchurch down to the 15-yard line. The ball came loose.
I don't see anybody settled down.
Nobody has.
Well, now they are. It looked like he was down.
I thought so, too.
Yeah, it looked like he was down, but I didn't see anybody stopping it.
Umpire, I think it was the umpire who was standing right beside it. He did not make the call.
Georgia waiting for the run was there. It was backside was on the ground before the ball was ripped out. It's a good call.
32-yard field goal. This could be the ball game here. Lee Tiffin can make it a 3-score lead. Hooked it. Is it good? Yes. Just got it inside the post.
Well,
how close was that? Tiffin makes it 17 by the slimmest of margins.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Dodge. Live life to the fullest. Dodge. Grab life.
Aerial coverage of tonight's game provided to you by Goodyear. Football's rough. Your commute shouldn't be. Get there with Goodyear Silent Armor technology. 34-17 Alabama.
Well, that was a huge drive for the Alabama football team. They gained 1 yard in the 3rd quarter. That's Joe Pendry, the offensive line coach here at Alabama. 19 years in the NFL with 6 different teams before he joined Nick Saban's staff last year, and that drive was huge.
Another West Virginia guy. Marcus Brown is short of the goal line. And just tripped up. Oh, that could have been interesting.
Yep, Terry Grant. Terry Grant, the running back, who was their starting running back last year. A huge play on special teams.
One more step, and it's a 10-point game. This week, Monday Night Football brings you an AFC North showdown. Ray Lewis and the Ravens go to Pittsburgh to take on Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Maybe Little Ben after the 8 sacks last week. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS.
Caleb King is in the game now for Georgia, not Knowshon Moreno.
Stafford deep sideline, had Massaquoi open and missed him. Tipped away by Rashad Johnson. Massaquoi had a couple of steps, and that ball was a little underthrown.
And that's surprising from Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
I've seen him overthrow passes, but I very seldom have ever seen him underthrow a pass. That one was clearly underthrown and almost picked off again.
Well, right now as a quarterback, you almost have to have that feeling that I've got to be perfect from now on. And that makes it a little tougher, doesn't it?
Well, it does. But, I mean, also as a quarterback and as a competitor, you love this situation. And the game is in your hands right now if you're Matthew Stafford.
Comes the blitz. Looked like 7 guys coming. The pass intended for Massaquoi. He was well covered by Marquise Johnson, number 24.
Well, that's 2 plays in a row that are just kind of throwaway plays for Georgia, and they can't afford to throw any plays away right now. 9:26 left in the game. The first and second down are gone. I mean, it's 3rd and 10, and you're in 4-down territory the rest of the game. Just about 9.5 minutes left. 3rd and 10 is tough.
Mark Richt has said seen his team make a big push here in the second half, but they have only closed to within 17 points. And they have to play with a lot of urgency right now. Another blitz, they don't get there. And over the middle of Moore, he's got it up to the 47-yard line. That's enough for a first down. Justin Woodall makes the tackle. They have to pick up the tempo, and they know it.
Watch Sean Chappis, the fullback, get in there and stick the linebacker. McClain allows Stafford to stay in there and make a throw versus pressure for a big first down. Got to have a back that'll stick in there, and that's a big linebacker coming in there. Rolando McClain is 250 pounds.
Stafford again over the middle. That one should have been caught. Moore had it bounce right off his chest.
One of the other guys that Georgia is missing right now. He limped off earlier in the game. Chris Durham, number 16, was their number 3 receiver, and he's a big target. 6'5", 208. There he is on the sideline. That's why we're seeing more of Michael Moore. He was normally the 4th receiver. Now he's the number 3 receiver in the game for Georgia.
And Durham with a right ankle injury will not return tonight. He had made 2 big catches in a row before he hurt that ankle. And you can see his frustration. Stafford, little pump fake and then throws. Wow. How about that for a catch? Well, Moore drops the easy one.
Yeah.
Has it bounce right off his chest, has to go up and snatch that one.
Well, Marquise Johnson thinks he has an interception. I mean, he falls back into this, and Moore just takes the ball right from him. Again, you see the arm strength of Stafford, though. I mean, he just zips that ball. I mean, that certain guys, the ball really comes out of their hand in a special way, and Stafford's one of those guys.
He was a huge recruit out of Dallas, Texas, where he was a superstar in that football-crazy high school state. Stafford again. This one is incomplete. That's intended for his tight end, and that should be a hold or interference.
What happened was the umpire had his back to the play, and he didn't see it. It was in his area, but the line judge did see it and is going to make the call on defensive holding. That's good work by the official.
Rolando McClain, the inside linebacker, looked like the guilty party. And that'll stop the clock at the 8:35 mark. Anything that stops the clock is good for Georgia.
Pass interference, number 25, defense. Penalty is first down and Spaulding foul.
Rolando McClain is right here, and he's going to be going against a wide receiver. That's a tough matchup for a middle linebacker, and it's a little out fake that McClain bid on, and when the receiver came back in, he just instinctively reached out and grabbed him with his left hand.
And McClain is saying, again, I never touched it.
Right. Well,
never laid a glove
to
on
do?
it.
He's a wideout. I'm a middle linebacker. Cut me a little slack.
That's right.
I'm doing the best I can.
Georgia still in there scratching and clawing. Massaquoi runs a pattern right into a double team. Stafford tried to fit it in there. He was being blitzed. It looked like they brought 6 that time.
It's worth mentioning here also, we haven't talked at all tonight about the new clock rules, but until we get into the last 2 minutes of this football game, if a play goes out of bounds, they'll stop the clock momentarily, but then they'll restart it on the referees ready for play rather than when the next snap. So there has to be a greater sense of urgency at this point in the game for Georgia, particularly knowing that they need 3 scores at this point.
Another blitz. Great job of picking it up. Stafford down the middle and dropped. That ball should have been caught inside the 10-yard line. Again, it's Moore, and Stafford got that one in there somewhere. Somehow, that was a great throw.
Well, Javier Arenas doesn't give up on the play, number 28. He reads the receiver's eyes, and he keeps his left arm in there and just fights the ball away. Arenas never saw the ball, but he read Michael Moore's eyes the entire way, and when he saw the receiver go for the ball, he got his left hand in there and knocked it away. That was a beautiful play by Arenas.
Yes, it was. Blitz again. Stafford lost the ball, got it back. But he's sacked at the 44, and obviously they'll have to go for it. You mentioned the clock. Once you get down to 2.5 minutes, if you're out of timeouts, the game is over.
Well, brought pressure, and Stafford tripped. And when he tripped, he lost his balance, he lost his vision down the field. And it brought up a very, very difficult situation. I mean, it's one thing to go incomplete on 3rd and 10, but to take a sack.
Georgia has to use its 2nd timeout. It's a blackout night in Athens. 34-17. Alabama leads Georgia. The last gasp for the Bulldogs could be right here. 4th and 14.
Yeah, that sack was so huge, because if it's 4th and 10, you can call a normal play. I mean, this is not a normal situation. 4th and very long. Alabama, you can see 3 deep safeties already. They're going to concede a short throw. Not going to give up the deep one. They are right on the first down marker.
Check it, it's 4th and 18. Stafford steps up, throws over the middle. Caught, and that should be a first down.
Oh my
what
goodness.
a throw and what a catch by A.J. Green right off the grass.
I wasn't sure he got enough on it, but there is a flag down in the area of holding.
And they're walking back that way.
Number 61, offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 4th down.
That's Ben Jones, the freshman center.
Anytime a center is on an island with no help from a guard, it's tough. If that nose guard has a 2-way go, can go left or right, it's hard for a center. Neither guard is blocking anybody, and neither one helps the center, and Ben Jones does the only thing he can do to try to protect his quarterback. One of those guards should have probably stepped down to help the center.
That was really an odd-looking blocking pattern there. And Georgia, again, 76 yards in penalties, have hurt themselves all year long. Now it's 4th and a $25 cab ride. Stafford's got to chuck it and hope. Well, certainly without that hold, things would have gotten more interesting again, wouldn't they?
Well, the sack on 3rd down, the holding penalty, just mistakes. You know, they fought valiantly here in the second half. They won the 3rd quarter, hands down, but they were in such a hole, after the first half, they just couldn't afford to make any mistakes in the second half. And they've made a few here in the fourth quarter.
You know, Ben Jones really acquitted himself exceptionally well tonight, because they left him one-on-one a lot of times. Did not get help. And now Alabama knows all it has to do is run the ball. And Nick Saban knows how to burn the clock. He is the latest in Alabama coaches chasing the legend, Bear Bryant, who was the coach from the late 50s till 1982. They have had 7 since then, trying to replicate his success. Gene Stallings was the only one who won a national championship. The rest have been found wanting. The standard is higher at Alabama. We refer you to the 1894 school yearbook when they said our first coach, E.B. Beaumont, was 2-2. We therefore got rid of him. And except for the Bear, they have been doing it ever since. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Mike, check in Sports Center right now in baseball. The Phillies have clinched the National League East. The Mets and Brewers go into the last day tied for the wild card. There would be a playoff in New York on Monday if necessary. And upsets aplenty. Ole Miss beats Florida in the Swamp 31-30. Sports Center after the game. Don't forget college football final after that. Stay current with ESPN News.
And Bo Garrett, our producer, is absolutely thrilled that the Phillies are in.
Reese Davis is an Alabama guy, too.
Ooh, happy night. Our director, Scott Johnson, is thrilled that the Reds are still in Cincinnati. John Parker Wilson wants to throw Upchurch on the screen.
Oh, what a move.
Upchurch, 20, 15. Wow. I was shocked by that.
Yeah.
Turned out to be a great call, though, didn't it?
Well, and this is what fresh legs can do for you. Upchurch is the #3 tailback for Alabama. We've seen Coffee, we've seen Ingram, and a little bit of a tired Georgia defense, and a fresh tailback, and Akeem Dent goes down. And Rennie Curran.
Geno Atkins got to John Parker Wilson at the end of that play and dumped him right on his behind. Down to 5:15 and counting.
What a big play.
Well, you talked about their strength, and that's what they had to be loyal to, and certainly they have been. But they also have added some skill guys on this team.
They really have. And John Parker Wilson had a beautiful game tonight. I mean, 205 yards passing. He's now got that career record as well, passing Brody Croyle.
He's got them all.
Yep, yeah, and he played a great game. He did exactly what they needed him to do. In the first half, he came out throwing on early downs. He was perfect until the very end of the half. And they kept Georgia's defense off balance. So the third quarter, Georgia's defense played well, got some 3-and-outs, but when Alabama needed it again in the fourth quarter, John Parker and this offense did it.
You know, he has always been viewed around the rest of the conference, and I think the rest of the country. This is Coffee inside the 5 to the goal line, touchdown. I think John Parker Wilson has always been looked at as a guy who was, he's pretty good, but I think he has surpassed that evaluation.
I think so. I think this year he has really made a big stride. And this his final season in Tuscaloosa. He has really taken a big step forward as a leader and as a performer.
How about Coffee tonight? 23 carries, 86 yards, and they are going to review whether this was a touchdown or not.
You know, I think everybody, as we take a look at this again, the run by Coffee, an excellent block leading the play by Mike Johnson, the left guard who pulled around to lead it. I think he landed on a Georgia defender, not on himself, and then bounced into the end zone. I think that call will stay as a touchdown.
You know, you're going to be hard-pressed to find 3 guys on one side of the line, Andre Smith, Mike Johnson, and Antoine Caldwell, who are any 3 guys who are better than that in the entire country.
Yep. And they proved it tonight. That was their strength coming in, and they asserted their strength.
And the guys on the right side didn't do too bad either.
No,
we haven't mentioned Marlon Davis and Drew Davis.
Yep. You know, we all knew, I think, that Nick Saban going to Alabama was the right guy for Alabama at that time. If you followed Alabama football for the last several years, they've been in a state of flux. They haven't had great leadership. And he is a guy, whether you like him or not, or like his style or not, he knows how to coach. He knows how to build a big picture program, and he knows how to win. And he's a disciplinarian. He's a tough, hard-nosed coach. And that is exactly what Alabama needed at this point in their history.
Review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So I think we all knew that he would get it done there.
Sure.
I think we're a little surprised, everybody, that it's happened this fast.
I mean, certainly am.
They look so much better than they did 1 year ago with a lot of the same players.
Because he and his staff did not have a full recruiting year in their first year. This was the first one. They are playing a lot of true freshmen because they had so many gaps, and that's what most coaches don't want to do. They want to redshirt guys, but he knows the future is now, as George Allen used to say. Some very, very sad news for our primetime crew this weekend. Last night we learned that Al Taylor, one of our longtime video technicians, lost his courageous battle with cancer. And yesterday, John Earnhardt, father of one of our cameramen, passed away. Our thoughts are with them and their families, and we are all terribly saddened for their loss and ours.
Dave Earnhardt works with me on Taste of the Town, just does a phenomenal job, and he stayed around to tape the segment and then flew home afterwards. And great job.
Samuel on the return for Georgia and breaks away and taken down to the 38. Let's check in with Reese.
Mike, Taco Bell studio update in Oklahoma in a battle against number 24 TCU. Sam Bradford to Manuel Johnson, who set an Oklahoma record, 203 receiving yards, 5 catches, 3 of them for touchdowns. He's a candidate for a helmet sticker on College Football Final. Oklahoma rolls. Are they clear-cut number 1 in your book now, guys?
Well, I think so. I think Oklahoma is the best offensive football team that I've seen this year. And Sam Bradford is the guy that kind of directs it and makes it all happen.
We saw them against Washington. Of course, I think that was a mismatch. But, boy, did they look good. And now Georgia had a chance to move up to number 1. And here's the question for you. With this blowout, 41-17, how far does Alabama move up? When you beat number 3, you've got to jump somebody.
I think they will shoot up pretty good. I mean, LSU is winning, but winning kind of ugly over Mississippi State at home. Missouri was off this week. So with
LSU
Florida,
just won by 10. Don't mean to interrupt you. But then Georgia is obviously losing here. Florida lost earlier. They could jump justifiably to number 3 or number 4 if Missouri goes up to number 3. So it's what a remarkable rise for Nick Saban.
Well, it's happened fast. I mean, the biggest thing that he felt they needed to do was to teach their kids how to finish and start by teaching them how to practice and finish each play and each practice and each day.
Because last year they didn't.
Right.
They got off to such a great start. That ball's nearly intercepted. Then they collapsed and had to win their bowl game to go 7-6, which they did. But it would have been something of a minor disaster had they finished under 500 last year. Here's their remaining schedule. And in the Southeastern Conference, that is about as favorable a remainder of a schedule as you can find anywhere.
Well, the Tennessee game on the road is always a big rivalry game, but Tennessee having some problems right now. At Baton Rouge will be huge. Nick Saban returns to Baton Rouge for the first time.
Stafford under pressure. Chucks it down to the 24 completely.
But I'm so impressed with just their whole swagger. There's a different swagger with this Alabama team. I mean, they were so loose before the game. Coming into this stadium, they were not intimidated at all. And last year, this team, all 6 of their losses were by a touchdown or less. They did finish football games very well last year. They're off to a great start right now, and they are a very physical football team.
Stafford pump fake down the middle of Moore. Touchdown. Boy, Moore is either making a spectacular catch or dropping one. And that one, he made another great catch.
Nice job of protecting Matthew Stafford, and he sticks it in right past the ear of Arenas. That time, Arenas not able to get a hand in. Didn't see the ball again that time, but Stafford just zipped it right past his ear for a touchdown.
You know, this will give the Alabama coaching staff something to chew on them all week about, but you're not going to be able to upset too many people with this. Now, they're going to go for 2. Of course, this would make it a 16-point game if you're still thinking about miracle. Let's go down to Holly with a special guest, Shaun Alexander.
Well, former running back for Alabama, what about this performance tonight makes you feel like Alabama might be back?
You know, I was so excited to fly out here. I woke up this morning. It was like, I'm flying across the country. I want to be on the sidelines when Alabama shows everybody they're #1.
Why was that so important to you?
You know what? It's just Alabama football. You know, I'm telling every recruit, every high school kid, this run is about to go for a long time. You're about to see, hopefully, some Bear Bryant type days, and that's what we want.
You're a pro guy. You know what Nick Saban's all about. How has he changed the face of this program?
It's all about discipline. You know, that's what he was, and that's what he's always been. He coaches those kids hard. They play hard, and you're seeing what happens when you get a bunch of talented guys that have discipline.
All right, thanks.
Hey, thank you.
Shaun Alexander was such a great high school player that they retired his number while he was still playing.
Wow. Well,
That's how good he was in high school.
He was great at Alabama, too. I covered a lot of his games, and he was special. He was absolutely special. And you know, the thing that you also got to know about Nick Saban that Shaun Alexander was bringing out as Georgia lines up for what will almost certainly be an onside kick is he can recruit. I mean, this recruiting class this past year was outstanding, and he will not relent when it comes to recruiting. He will stay with his pedal to the metal in that part of it.
Most people rated it easily the best in the nation. Loose ball.
Georgia got it.
Yes, they're indicating they did. No sign from the official yet.
Yep.
They got it.
Nick Walker tried to jump up and make the catch, I think, and was unable to secure it.
Looked like C.J. Bird, the defensive back, was the one who came up with the ball. You know, except for a couple of plays, this could still be very competitive.
Nick Walker goes up. He's their leading receiver, and he has it, but he just bobbles it on his way back down to the ground, and Bird is able to recover it. You put your receivers and guys, your sure hands on your hands team up there for the onside kick. He's their leading receiver coming into the game and not able to make the snag.
Georgia offense back to work. Stafford trying to take off. Slips a tackle across midfield down to the 47-yard line. Well, you know one thing. A loss in the Southeastern Conference is probably something everybody's going to have. If you go through this league unblemished, they might as well just mail you the national championship trophy. Although I'm drinking the Kool-Aid again, aren't I? It is a first down. Sports Center coming up when we're done. SEC and Big Ten showdowns today. The impact of Saturday upsets National League wild card winner in Major League Baseball. And how about the Pac-10? Yikes. They have the shining star in Southern California, and then they lost. The clock only stops momentarily while they move the chains.
Well, the good news for Georgia is they got a week off after this game. A chance to get some of their guys healthy and back on the field. Lost a couple tonight, have played without a couple that possibly could get back. Roderick Battle, not sure what his situation is at defensive end.
Here's the stat provided by Mark Fredrickson. 5 weeks into the season, there is not an undefeated team left in the Pac-10 of the ACC. And I've never seen the ACC down this far.
Big win by North Carolina today over Miami.
Oh, it was. Huge final play. And here are the teams that lost this weekend, starting with number 1. Number 4, Florida goes down, and number 3, Georgia, obviously not on here. Wisconsin. Wake Forest loses to Navy. Navy had a 17-0 lead. Clemson, what a disappointment for them. They had such high hopes for this year. And then East Carolina goes down against Houston.
East Carolina lost a heartbreaker in overtime to North Carolina State last week. And,
I think it took it out of them, don't you?
Just still feeling the effects of it.
Holly Rowe, what do you have?
Well, you know, after that USC loss, Georgia quarterback Matthew Stafford actually called Mark Sanchez, the USC quarterback. He said, hey, keep plugging. We were in the national championship conversation with 2 losses last year. Keep plugging. He'll need his own advice this week.
Yeah, maybe Mark will call him.
Yeah, I would think so. This one's over the middle, batted away. Good play by Rashad Johnson, who's had several good plays in this ball game. Pass was intended for Kenneth Harris. Well, I would have to agree with you. Right now, Oklahoma is the best team that I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, on both sides of the ball. Their offense was just the most explosive, dynamic offense that I've seen so far. Their question marks for their team is their defensive secondary. I mean, they've got good players, but new players. And they're going to be challenged in that conference.
False start. Number 82, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
All at once, the Big 12
to 159.
comes right to the top. You could have Oklahoma, Missouri, and Texas in the top 5.
Well, we've had that with the SEC.
Yes, we have.
The last
had 5 in the top 10. Which had never been done before. And 6 in the top 25, which is remarkable. Problem with the SEC and the other power leagues, they start beating each other. Stafford using the middle of the field. Harris down to the 20. Of course, that's what the defense tries to do, funnel you toward the middle, where you can't get out of bounds to stop the clock, and where they have more help.
Anytime you can win on the road in the SEC, I think it's impressive. To me, one of the things that sets the SEC apart from the other leagues is not just the talent of the players, but how difficult all the venues are to go and play in this league.
Green, touchdown. This guy may set records we haven't even thought about yet.
You know, the last great receiver, a tall receiver that I saw here at Georgia was Fred Gibson a few years ago. And I think this guy may be better. I mean, he is so smooth and just has such great timing and body control and soft hands. And has an obvious nice connection with Matthew Stafford.
And you know he's busting his rear end, but it looks like he's just out there jogging, and it looks like he's playing with kids.
Well,
He's a tremendous talent.
Both of these number 8s, Julio Jones for Alabama and this guy, A.J. Green, the 2 most heavily recruited wide receivers coming out of high school last year, and they have both put on a pretty good show tonight. It's kind of a breakout game for Julio, and A.J. Green just continues to be the guy for Georgia when it comes to big plays in the passing game. Mohamed Massaquoi is a good receiver on the other side too, but this guy is dynamic.
Well, for Georgia, this is just the beginning of Murderer's Row. I mean, they've got one of the toughest schedules around, and it's tough to even Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt playing so well early in the year. Tough to find an easy touch on there. They're going to have to slug it out.
Think they can get 2 in a row on the onside kicks?
Why not? That's the way this game has gone. I'll tell you honestly, I thought this was going to be 13-10.
Yeah.
That's about it. Oh, what is it now? 41-30, and we're not done?
Nick Walker's still out there. Number 88, the guy who bobbled the last one.
Stays in bounds. And Alabama got it. Georgia out of timeouts. A couple of kneel downs, how to take care of this, and Nick Saban and his team will get out of here in front of 93,000 people. And like you said, you went on a road in this league and blackout conditions at night in prime time in front of 93,000. You've done so.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the difference with this league. I mean, with the exception of maybe Vanderbilt doesn't have a 90, 85, 90,000 seat stadium, but most of the teams in this league have big stadiums, and they're all sold to capacity, and they're all hard places to get to. I mean, it is a tough place to get in and play. So you come here and win on the road. That's impressive.
It's particularly hard at Georgia this week because there's no gasoline in the state. We're all going to run out of gas about a mile from the Atlanta airport tomorrow, except for you. You've got the bus.
Loaded up with diesel and ready to roll.
John Parker Wilson, one of the stars of this game. He was spectacularly good.
He was. Great decision making, great accuracy throwing the football. Never got flustered, never lost his composure. And Jim McElwain, I really think the offensive coordinator, his first year at Alabama, came from Fresno State, was the quarterback coach for the Raiders the year before that. I think he did a masterful job calling this offense tonight and keeping Georgia's defense, a very talented, fast defense, completely off balance.
He did exactly what you pointed out early in the ball game that you need to do against a Georgia defense. If you are a running team, and they were, you had to throw in downs where you weren't expected to throw. You had to throw early and disappoint UGA, and they did. It was 31-0 in the first half. UGA never recovered. What a huge win for Alabama and Nick Saban. Here's Holly.
Coach, how was your offense able to come out and set the tone in that first half?
Well, I just think we had a good plan. We did a good job on the line of scrimmage and, you know, made our runs work and had some positive runs, had a good play action plan and made some plays. But, you know, like I told you at halftime, it's a 60-minute game. And these guys should be commended for the way they came back in the game. And our guys lost their intensity, and we didn't play the same in the second half. So maybe we'll learn something. What
was going through your mind during that third quarter when you guys were failing to convert yards?
Well, I think the big thing was we were able to come back and, you know, when we scored 10 points, that kind of put the game out of reach. We didn't play pass defense very well in some of those situations and didn't get an onside kick. So we need a lot of things that we need to work on.
But you did get the win, Coach, right?
We won, and it's a great win for us. And hey, I appreciate our fans up there, and it's great for our players, and our coaches have done a wonderful job with this group. Now we got to regroup and get another one.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Huge win for Nick Saban and Alabama. They win it over Georgia 41-30 in Athens. Coming up next on ESPN, stay tuned for SportsCenter. And for a wrap-up of this game, catch us on ESPN News in just a few. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everyone. Good night from Athens, Georgia.